Hi guys, Deborah here from String and Scissors. I've been on holiday to Hobart, and if I sound like I've got a bit of a cold, it's because I got one when I was down there. It's lovely and warm in Brisbane, but in Hobart it was freezing. Anyway, while I was there, I went to a number of antique shops, thrift shops, whatever you want to call them, and I picked up a whole heap of gorgeous ephemera. So I just wanted to share with you some of the fabulous things I got, because I often think in Australia that we don't get as much of this old ephemera as they do in the USA, and certainly in the UK where they have so much of everything. So let's just start with these. Now I haven't even taken these out, but these are, they're on card. These are some Layby receipts from 1954 for a Miss Mackenzie. So I picked these up and I just think that they're lovely. They're just paper and I'm going to use them in my junk journals, and I bought those. And this here is a Commonwealth Bank book. It's a Passbook, and if you're younger you might not remember Passbooks, but certainly I remember them very well. And this one here, you can see I've left the prices on. This one was $8. I didn't pay that much. I actually bundled them all up and he gave me a really good price, the guy I got these from. But it's a Commonwealth Bank Passbook, and it's obviously old because it's in pounds and it's completely blank. So it's in pristine condition. So it's got to be before 1966, which is when decimal currency came in. And it's got staples, so of course it's not going to be ancient. But I just couldn't resist having that. I'm actually hoping I can scan some of this in, and therefore I won't just have this to use, but I'll have more of it if I scan it in. So that's one thing. Then I got this Passbook from the State Savings Bank of Victoria. He had a couple of these and I got the larger one, and these are actually a real Passbook. Look at this, isn't this adorable? So old. Amazing the condition that it's in. And this one is actually, I'll go to the centre. It's actually bound properly with the string, just like we bind the junk journals these days. And it's a real person's Passbook, Miss Mary Clemenger. Anyway, you can see she lived in Kew in Victoria, even though I've got this in Tasmania. And there's Passbook number, which is also on the front here, 19489. And this is all her deposits and withdrawals. And it's in pounds, shillings and pence, so the balance is £40, 10 shillings and sixpence. But it's just adorable. I just love the old writing, paid, and then she obviously got some interest in 1925, 1929. The Passbook itself starts in 1922, and it's just gorgeous. And then these are all the bank offices you could go to, and then of course it's cancelled, so she obviously closed the account or moved to another Passbook, because that's what they used to do when if your Passbook filled up, long before internet banking and ATMs and all of that, of course. So that's another thing I got. There was a lovely vintage shop in New Norfolk, which is in sort of northwest of Tasmania, northwest of Hobart, not too far away from Hobart, maybe a 30-40 minute drive. And it had these gorgeous original labels from A.H. Penny in Chumley in North Devon. And I just picked up 4 of them, 4 different ones, but they're actually labels, that original labels that went on the bottles of medicines and things. So they're unused, and they had little packets of them there, and I just bought 4 different ones. Camphorated chalk, whatever that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Lavender water, perfumed hair oil, and best crushed linseed. Just beautiful. So they're for the junk journals as well. An old empty advice notice, which is from Wise and Sterling in Hobart, and like it says here, they supplied case nails, cases, wood wool, apple paper sprays, so everything for an orchard, and flour and grain. So they provide a lot of provided a lot of produce as well, fruit sales. But it's actually empty, and I really like that because I'll be able to use it and write on it. It's from 1920 something, so we know it's from the 1920s because it's got that there. And so they used to be able to, then you could add 1921, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know that it's at least that old, and that's the front of it. So normally they would put a stamp there. So 1.5 pennies, or 1 penny and 1 halfpenny stamp. And if I look back at these, you can see that these have also got a 1 penny stamp, and that was the stamp duty that had to be paid to the government. So you bought those stamps and then you stuck them on for your sales. As I guess a bit like GST, isn't it? But anyway, this is just gorgeous. I'm really, really happy with that. In really good condition for its age. I also bought this Eveready flashlight case sign, and obviously this is a retailer's price sheet from 1954, so it's about 63 years old. I know, 64 now, because I know that August 19th, almost 64, and my sister was born in 1954 and she's turned 64. So isn't that lovely? It's not got anything on the back, but it's actually the price list. Yeah, 27, 34 shillings. Isn't it gorgeous? That's going to be a nice little bit of advertising. The next thing I got is this, which is a Girl Guides card. And it's all the badges that you could do as a Girl Guide. I really like the images of the 2 flags. So the Union Jack and the Australian flag. And it's actually a real one from 1961. See, they passed on the 8th of August, 61, yep. So this is a real one, and on this side of it, we've got ends of a rope. So these are the challenges that you do if you're a Girl Guide. I was never a Girl Guide, but my daughter was. And it's filled in there. The motto, be prepared. And this is the guide law. So it's like a card, but it's lovely too. I might scan that in, because I might keep the card and scan that in and use it. Then this is an interesting piece of memorabilia. This is a 1955, so it's not that old. Australian Amateur Cycling Championships. And you don't get a lot of cycling memorabilia. It's quite hard to get. What I loved about it was the advertising. So we've got an ad here for the new Speedwell Flash. Isn't that gorgeous, that? And then I got some old photos. So this is one of the old postcards. It's not written on the back, this one. But they used to do these postcards where you took a picture of people in your family and then you made a postcard, and then you're able to send this, put a stamp on it and send it somewhere to a relative, I guess, or a friend. And I've got a couple of pictures that I've got too. These lovely old photographs. Look at this lady. Here's the Empire Art Company, again with the stamp duty stamp. And £4 and 6 shillings. And this is the price, obviously an art supplier. The price of studies, mountings, a total purchase. He paid a £2 deposit. Then he went back and paid £4 6 shillings for a total of £6 6 shillings. So that's the receipt for the £4 6 shillings, his final payment. This here is another old receipt. I really liked it because it had the stamps on it, and plus it's pink. And this one here, which is from the same person, so they're all from Mr. Reed, and in 1935 as well. And that one's for £5 in cash. It doesn't say what that one's for. And then the final thing that I got was this envelope. Somebody's cut it down, but I still liked the old stamps on it. Anyway, that's the ephemera that I collected while I was out travelling in Tasmania for a week. So I think it's a pretty good haul, and I'm pretty happy, and I hope you enjoyed my sharing it with you. Cheers.